is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News 9. English news as it should be.
Hello and welcome to News 9, and you're watching On Point. I'm Kartikeya Sharma, and we have 3 On Points lined up for you. In On Point 1, we discuss Israel-Lebanon conflict as Israel expands its presence in the South Lebanon. Big question is, can security zone bring stability, or is history repeating itself? We decoded with Khaled Zainuddin, journalist from Lebanon. In On Point 2, we discuss the deepening West Asia crisis as diplomacy stalls. The big question is, did Donald Trump miss a key off-ramp when Iran opened the Strait of Hormuz? We decode the global implication with MJ Akbar, former Minister of State for External Affairs. In On Point 3, we discuss the rising tension in Manipur. The big question is, are these demonstrations being hijacked by instigators, or there exists genuine unrest on the ground? And now let's take a quick look at the headlines. Wall Street Journal reports Trump screamed at aides for hours and was kept out of war room during US Airmen's rescue operation in Iran. Court denies interim bail to absconding accused Nida Khan in Nashik TCS case. Next hearing on April 27th. Big jolt to Mamata, government amid poll campaign. IPAC suspends all operations in Bengal 4 days before assembly polls amid ED raid. 7.5 magnitude earthquake strikes Japan. Tsunami waves hit coastal areas. West Asia is on the edge, and Lebanon is once again caught in the crossfire. As Israel expands control in parts of South Lebanon, old questions are resurfacing. Can a security zone really bring stability, or are we seeing a repeat of history? Hezbollah remains at the heart of the crisis, but can it ever be demilitarized, especially as long as Iran is backing them? With tensions rising, fears of prolonged conflict are growing. Is this a war with no clear end in sight? To decode the crisis and its wider implications, we are joined by Khaled Zainuddin, a political analyst and journalist from Lebanon. Thank you so much for joining me, Khaled. My question to you is history repeating itself, where Israel went on to occupy parts of Lebanon from 1985 to 2000?
Good afternoon. Thanks being with you. Of course, now we are with an open war between Islamic Iran Revolutionary Guard and Israel on the Lebanese land and the cost of Lebanese blood. Of course, Israel now wants to disarm Hezbollah because they gave a chance for the Lebanese government and couldn't, and they know exactly that the Lebanese government and the Lebanese army has no power to disarm or dismantling Hezbollah, because Hezbollah is a part of Lebanese people, not all of them, most of them is a part of Lebanese people. Additionally, they have support and estimated funding and military and weapons and missiles from Iran, and under supervision of direct Islamic Guard revolution. For now, Israel is working on other strategy. Now they are protracted on war of attrition. Protracted war of attrition will lead to displacement the thousands of population of Lebanese people from the south to internal cities of Lebanon, to Beirut, to north, to other cities. This will reflect on the Lebanese society in culture and economic and social and security. This will lead to an internal conflict, an internal civil war, similar to civil war which...
Khaled, my question is very simple. Do you think that Hezbollah can ever be demilitarized? Is it a possibility?
This is a great question, but briefly, it's 2 points. I told you, through protracted war of attrition, which will make a civil war in Lebanon, create, or Iran, second point, Iran aspire to be a regional country, and Iran has a popular force faction in Iraq, and has Fatimiyun, and has Hezbollah, and has Houthi, and they are a great cards with Iran on the table of negotiation with United States of America and Pakistan. They will use it, and they must use it as a bullet, and they must burn it because of Iranian influence in the Middle East.
Okay, now this brings me to another question. Do you think that this crisis will continue because the Americans are not part of the negotiating table as of now, because Iranians are not going to be there? So there is a bit of a crisis there. Both of them have taken a very tough position.
Sure, because now it's a conflict of influence. Iran aspects to be a regional country in the Middle East, and this will lead to weakening of Israeli influence and Israeli power on Lebanon and on the region. It's a conflict for future, for industrial, for economic, for threatening the future of Middle East. For this reason, I don't think the war will stop, because the war and negotiation will be until Iran will disarm all their proxies, all their arms extensions, until will stop establishment around the military zone and the security zone around Israel, to not use it as a geographical card against and the security card against Israel in the future.
Are we looking at, Khalid, from the perspective of Beirut? From the perspective of Beirut, are we looking at a long-term Israeli occupation of the Lebanese territory around Litani River?
Of course, Israel will not be back. Israel will make a security zone to save the north people of Israel from the north side.
So why do you think Israel wants to keep it? Because last time they had to leave it because the attacks continued. The casualties were higher on the Israeli side. That is why they vacated those positions.
Because they know Israel, that the Islamic Revolution Guard, they are on south of Lebanon. They invested in many years because following of Al-Ta'if agreement in Lebanon, the Lebanese leaders used Al-Ta'if to destroy or undermine the constitution, to undermine the foundation of the state, and to make their own states, and linked Lebanon to original projects, to original agendas. For this reason, Iran invested in Hezbollah and influences in Shias, political influences, especially Hezbollah, and they are on the border with Israel, and they are geographically beside Israel. They can attack anytime. They can send for them anytime messages to make Iran stronger with the negotiation.
But when you said the Hezbollah is very deeply invested in Lebanon, are you saying that it's next to impossible for Hezbollah to only function as a political party? But even then, Hezbollah will have a very radical point of view against Israel, not accepting its existence.
Hezbollah is not only military. Hezbollah is a big investor. Estimated funding of Iran in with Hezbollah, it's around $1 billion yearly. And Hezbollah, when Hezbollah involved in the war in Syria and in Iraq, Iran occupied 4 capitals, and the head of Revolutionary Guard of Iran, he told that we have already controlled 4 capitals in Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, and Yemen. And they start produce missiles and planes for attacking, for selling, for handling, and they used Lebanon as a main investors. As Hezbollah, they are the main investors for Iran, which has branches around the world. Hezbollah had branches around the world through Iran support, direct support. They are military, they are ideologically, they have influence through Hezbollah on Lebanese parliament, on Lebanese government. They undermine the establishment of the Lebanese government. They undermine the production, the society. They changed the face of Lebanon. Lebanon was one of the best countries in the Middle East. It was Switzerland of Middle East, but the conflicts in Middle East and linking Lebanon to foreign agendas, especially with Iranian agendas, made undermine the Lebanese government and establishment. For this reason, they invested, and now they are using the investment in Hezbollah, especially after they lost the card of Syria, changing the regime of Assad in Syria and changing the president of Syria, and after they lost Iraqi card through influence, political and military influence and attacks of Israeli planes and on the Iraqi lands. Now only they have two cards. One is Houthi in Yemen, and the second card is Hezbollah in Lebanon.
Are you saying that Hezbollah is a state within state in Lebanon?
Of course, sure. They are state within state, and they have their own weapons, and they have their own operation in various regions.
So how do you, can we say that it's impossible for the Lebanese government to weed out Hezbollah?
Of course, it's impossible. Only two reasons can disarm Hezbollah or demilitarize Hezbollah. As I told you, through a long, protracted war of attrition, it will displace the population of southern from south of Lebanon to north of Lebanon and to Beirut and to other cities. This makes between different cultures, different ideological, will make a strife in Lebanon, will lead to destroy Lebanon, and will lead for a civil war between Lebanese. This will weaken Hezbollah. And second point, as I mentioned before, Iran aspires to be a regional country, and to have an influence with new economical system in the Middle East. Will use the card of Houthi and Hamas and Jihad and most of factions, Palestinians or Lebanese or Iraqi or Yemen, to win in the end.
So there cannot be lasting peace till there is an Iranian intervention in Lebanon. That's what you are saying? That unless and until you curtail Iranian influence in Lebanon, there cannot be any peace with Israel?
Only, as I told you, peace with Israel, it need to be, it need first to disarm all factions, all military factions, and to be back to judiciary, to legitimacy, that the decision of war and internal and external defense must be in the hand of Lebanese government. In such situations, the government will decide the peace with Israel and the negotiations with Israel, agreement with Israel. But most of Lebanese people, they want now a peace with Israel.
Okay, so what's your assessment of the talks that happened in Washington? What are your sources saying? Where did the talks go? Because obviously it didn't lead to a resolution, but it led to sort of a ceasefire. So what's your larger assessment of the talks in Washington?
We have a fragile ceasefire because the president and government and prime minister and even head of parliament, they are trying to have a direct negotiation under supervision of America, United States of America, with Israel direct. But Iran, they are using their investment in Lebanon through Shia political influence to connect it with Iranian negotiation in Pakistan.
So do you think this will not have a positive outcome? Pakistan is already part of negotiation. Your assessment?
It's not because negotiation in Pakistan or negotiation in India or in America or China. It's a conflict of power with the main power countries in the world. It's a world war through proxies in other land by other people. It's we saw what's going between Russia and Ukraine and the European Union. We see what's going in conflicts in some countries in Asia and now in Middle East, Palestine, Hamas, and the regime of Assad has been changed, and now the changing in Iraq, changing of regime in Lebanon. It's a global and international war by proxies, by arms, by extensions, and Iran are using Shia's political influence in the Middle East to threaten the stability of economy for GCC countries and for the Middle East, and exclusively for Lebanon and Iraq and Yemen, because if Iran will lose the card of Lebanon and the card of Yemen will not have any influence except missiles and except the nuclear program.
Okay, thank you so much, Khalid. Thank you so much for joining me from Beirut for this very nice, deep conversation as to why Hezbollah is a state within a state and why it will be very difficult to demilitarize Hezbollah. Thank you so much. It's time for a short break, but please don't go away. In the On Point 2, we will discuss deepening West Asia crisis with former Minister of External Affairs, MJ Akbar, after a short break.
After a blockbuster first season, where corporate giants and industry leaders rule the court, TV9 Network presents the ultimate corporate badminton championship Season 2. A battle of skill, speed and supremacy, with a massive 5 lakh rupee prize pool across categories. At Pulela Gopichand Badminton Academy, Kachi